The Daily Stoic, on the topic of clarity, January 1st, control and choice. The chief task in life is simply this, to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself, which are externals not under my control, and which have to do with the choices I actually control. Where then do I look for good and evil, not to uncontrollable externals, but within myself to the choices that are my own? Epictetus, Discourses 2.5.4 through 5. The single most important practice in Stoic philosophy is differentiating between what we can change and what we can't, what we have influence over and what we do not. A flight is delayed because of weather. No amount of yelling at an airline representative will end a storm. No amount of wishing will make you taller or shorter or born in a different country. No matter how hard you try, you can't make someone like you. On top of that, time spent hurling yourself at these immovable objects is time not spent on things that we can change. The recovery community practices something called the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Addicts cannot change the abuse suffered in childhood. They cannot undo the choices they have made or the hurt that they have caused. But they can change the future through the power that they have in the present moment. As Epictetus said, they can control the choices they make right now. The same is true for us today. If we can focus on making clear what parts of our day are within our control and what parts are not, we will not only be happier, we will also have a distinct advantage over the other people who fail to realize that they are fighting an unwinnable battle. Well, I'd like to thank you for being here today with me. Now is a bit of a free-form section that I'm going to have at the end of each of these readings to sort of explain my thoughts on it. Though today will be a tad different, just because I'm going to quickly explain overall why I'd like to make this series. I started reading this book last year for a little while, on and off, and honestly I didn't get through all of it, just because there were segments that I had forgotten about and other parts of my life started to kind of creep in, making it hard to focus on doing something daily. And it's part of the reason why I want to make this series now, is because I truly want to make this a part of a daily thing that I do, to read each segment and to understand it in better detail. And a lot of thought that I have with doing this is based off of a lesson I was taught when I was younger, when I was in a program in Canada called Air Cadets. It was the idea that not only do you need to learn something, you also need to be able to teach it, and teach it to someone who has no understanding of it, at least to a certain extent. And if you're capable of teaching it to that degree, you fully understood the topic. So I'm hoping that throughout this year, I'll be able to read from this book and not only explain my thoughts on it, but hopefully illuminate a little bit of what the writer means. I welcome you to the series and hope you'll be along for the ride for the year. Hope to see you every day.